Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH. So I wanted to do a fun video today going through my collection, and as time goes on, there are people that are collecting, different types of releases now, and I love doing the old DVD ones, but how about something for the Blu-ray collectors out there? I want to do, by the way, those Jubilee videos are insanely entertaining. I'm watching one with Skip Bayless argue with people about why Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James, which clearly Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. But anyway, I wanted to do a video going over 10 golden era Scream Factory Blu-rays. Now, of course, I made sure every one of these had slips, because I think at this point, if you are going to get any of these, you're going to want the ones that have slip covers with them. So without further ado, I say we get right into it. And this is no certain order except for the last one, which I consider to be the greatest golden era Scream Factory Blu-ray of all time. Now, when I think about golden era, I definitely think about stuff that came out before 4K was a thing that Scream Factory did at all. These are all releases that Scream Factory was, this was their creme de la creme releases. The first one I want to talk about, and I tried to order these in the importance for me, but the first one I want to talk about is this one, John Carpenter's The Fog. This was the first release that really did the movie justice in terms of giving Adrienne Barbeau somewhat top billing, not necessarily the most top billing, but somewhat top billing. Because if you remember back to the old stuff, I don't know if I have the original art on here. Yeah, I do. If you go back to like the old promotional stuff for this movie, they always put Jamie Lee Curtis on the front. They always gave her the top billing on the front, and I assume that has to do more so with the success of Halloween and stuff at that point. And I remember, as much as I love the 4Ks and how good the picture quality is and stuff like that, I remember still being like shocked, because I still wonder, and part of me thinks that maybe the jump from DVD to Blu-ray, especially like after Blu-ray had been out for a number of years, like the 2012, 13, 14, I think the jump from DVD to Blu-ray was very significant. You could even argue it might be even more significant for that as opposed to the stuff we see now in terms of how big the jump is from quality. I don't know, but this release, I remember being so over the moon. I got this with the poster, and this is when they were doing all new original art. This was done by Justin Osborne, by the way. All original art when they did this, which I love the original posters that they used to do. They were really cool. I don't know that they actually offered you the original artwork posters like they do now and the new artwork. I think they actually just offered you the new artwork as a poster. So, times were different then. All right, next up, this movie is still insane to me that Scream Factory did not get this again. Now, whether Vinegar Syndrome stole it from them or not, I don't know. Whether they just said, hey, we're going to offer you this much, and Scream Factory either could have matched it or they didn't have a say in the matter. I don't know exactly how all that works, if there's bidding wars. But this release was a huge deal. This came out in like 2016, I think. 1986 is when the movie came out. Yeah, 2016, that is the Scream Factory Blu-ray release for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. I love this artwork. This still may be the best artwork for any Texas Chainsaw release so far, including the new Arrow release, which I love, but something about this perfectly encapsulates how that movie felt, in my opinion. This was a good release. Now, this was a 2K HD from the interpositive film element. So obviously, picture quality wise, I'd say that the Vinegar Syndrome release is superior, and it does look amazing. But this release, it looked fantastic when it came out. Now, artwork wise, I almost wondered if they were going to give us the chainsaw coming through the wall, the original art, but they gave us that artwork. No, maybe they did give us the other artwork. No. Okay, so the inside has that. But the disc, the actual Blu-ray disc, and at a certain point, they were also giving you DVDs with the original Blu-rays. But the Blu-ray discs had the original, has that art right there. I like this artwork better, but I still love the original design that Toby kind of had in his head, which I think he told the artist to do, which was this, where you got Leatherface kind of careening through the door with a chainsaw. That artwork, I think there were posters made, but the Breakfast Club parody, I think, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Toby had the idea for the Breakfast Club parody, and there was artwork that was done before with Leatherface blasting through the door, which is great artwork too. So that's a classic release, man. I could never sell this release. And honestly, I'm getting a lot of nostalgia for these because these were Awesome. Next up, this one's kind of a sore subject with everybody. I hope that this actually gets an HD, because believe me, I don't like being like, haha, I got this. But this was classic era. This was 2016. That is Manhunter on Blu-ray. This was an awesome release. They did a great job of this. Now, they don't say on here whether this was taken from any sort of specific scan or anything, but it did look good, and it was actually chock full with a lot of stuff. This actually has new interviews with the director of photography, new interviews with actor William Peterson, Tom Noonan, and Joan Allen. Music of Manhunter with the composer, Barry Andrews. I wonder if they got Brian Cox in here. I don't see it. Which I think that was the name of the guy that actually played Lecter in this, which he was good. It was different. No, they don't have Brian Cox in here. But that performance of Hannibal is different. It's good. I don't think it's as good as the other guy, Anthony Hopkins. I keep wanting to say Perkins, but it's Hopkins. But I think it's kind of like just trying to have a cool opinion if you say that this Lecter was better than that one. But I do like this movie better than Red Dragon. This movie is very stylized. It's very Miami Vice. Great soundtrack. Fantastic soundtrack. This is my preferred version of Red Dragon. I don't know what's going on with this movie. It's got some kind of weird licensing issue. I know that this came out and pretty much went out of print fast. And then there are some standard box sets, that Blu-ray collections that I saw that had this movie. But I don't even know if those are in print anymore. So there's a lot of mystery about Manhunter, what's going on with it, if it will ever come out. Time will tell, I guess. All right, guys, this is like about the most classic art you could get. This is one of the first releases, and somehow my release is like, it looks brand new. It looks like I just got it. I've just kept it in really good condition. That is the Blu-ray release of The Burning. Look at that. That release right there is classic. Now, I love the blue at the top. I don't know why. Like, that symbolizes to me, and I think most of these after this, with the exception of 2, have the blue at the top. Now, this is a big indicator of this being a very early release from Scream Factory. This might have been one of the first ones. This came out in 2013. Yeah, so this was technically probably within the first year. I think Scream Factory debuted in August or September of 2012, which we'll get to. I was there for that. I was so excited. But this release of The Burning is fantastic. I like it so much that, I couldn't even bring myself to change the art. I think the art for this is phenomenal. The Burning. Yeah, here it is. Like I said, this is like right when they were still doing DVDs during this time, because DVDs were still like a thing. As a matter of fact, I even wonder, I bet you there's a DVD release for this version of The Burning. I bet you that there is, because they were releasing a lot of their titles in DVD format still. So that's a classic one. And that one has a lot of good interviews. No, it wasn't. I had this one confused with with another one, because this one just says audio commentary with Malin and international journalist Alan Jones. So maybe not. This is one of my favorite artworks of all time. This was done by the great Justin Osborne. I'm pretty sure. I don't see his name on here. But this is one of my favorite Blu-ray releases I have. That is the Scream Factory release of Prince of Darkness. This came out in 2013 as well. It might have even been 2014. But I want to say it was 2013. I'm looking for a date. The movie came out in 87. I thought it was 88. No, They Live was 88. Anyway, this release is about as classic as it gets for me. I fell in love with this movie after I kind of discovered Alice Cooper around this time, and I decided to watch it when I heard he was in it, before even realizing that it was a John Carpenter film. But yeah, The Prince of Darkness to me is top 5 Alice Cooper, top 5 John Carpenter of all time. This release is classic, and the artwork for The Prince of Darkness, I don't really like it that much. Like, that's the original poster art. But I think I swapped them out of respect. Like, it was really cool at the time. Like, when you got these, I think everybody did this for most of their titles. They would get the awesome slip art, and then they would flip the Blu-ray case to have the original artwork, which was, awesome. So, yeah, The Prince of Darkness release is great. This one has Alice Cooper on here being interviewed about it, and he loved the movie. Alice talked all about the movie in here. The only thing he said he didn't like was the ending. He thought that you either needed to show the demon or the devil, or don't show it at all. And he still says, I'm down for a part 2, which, could you imagine Prince of Darkness 2 with Alice back? I would freaking love that. That'd be amazing. All right, guys, next up, we've got probably one of the most packed Blu-rays of all time. Now, I just did a video not too long ago about Return of the Living Dead 2, so I didn't want to bypass that. That way I'm just not repeating myself too much with that movie. But I did want to include this one. This is Return of the Living Dead, the first one. This movie is a 10 out of 10 release, an absolute 10 out of 10 release. It's the best case scenario in every situation. Let's say you had the MGM Blu-ray. Well, is the picture quality better on this? This is a 2K scan of the inner positive. So marginally, but yeah, definitely had a more cinematic look than just the standard Blu-ray that MGM had done. Okay, does it have new interviews? Because the MGM had new interviews, and so did the previous DVDs, going back to the original MGM DVD. Of course, it has all new interviews, a lot of great new interviews, new audio commentaries as well, with Gary Smart, who I love Gary Smart. More new commentaries, Tony Gardner commentaries, new interviews, a lot of stuff. Now, on disc 2, there's even more new interviews, again, with the people that did some of the soundtrack, the effects of the Living Dead. Horror's Hollow Grounds was on here. That's another thing. The early releases had all of Sean's Horror's Hollow Grounds on here, and those are just, you eat them up. They're so fun to watch. So you got new interviews on this. You got new picture quality, better picture quality on this. But let's say you like, okay, well, I still got to go buy more Brains, the Return of the Living Dead documentary. No, they put that on here. I think this was a 3-disc release. No, they fit all this on 2 discs. And something about this movie in the blue case just looks right, even though I love my 4K, and I can't wait to get that new Steelbook because I love collecting this film. This movie looks right on a Blu-ray case. Now, there was a super-duper ultimate version of this that had even more slipcases, but even then, it was hard for me to be like, okay, I want to get 4 slipcases or whatever the hell it came with. I think it was 2 different slipcases. But this artwork is phenomenal. This release is phenomenal. That was truly a golden era release. And that was 2016 as well, I believe. It couldn't have been too far after that. Yeah, I think it was around 2016. Might have been 2017. But that's still the golden era to me. Next up, guys. God, this is going back. And I'm so happy because these just got announced on Scream Factory on 4K. And some of you watching this, you may not care about getting these movies on 4K. You may say, okay, maybe now I can get these cheaper because they're coming back. And that is the Sleepaway Camp sequels. I'm going to show part 3 because I have the slipcover for this one. Yeah, these were awesome at the time. These had good interviews on them. This came out in 2015 or 16. 2015. I'm not in love with the artwork. I like Nathan Thomas Milner, but some of his stuff I didn't really dig. This one I digged a little bit, but he's done better ones, I feel. But this goes, like, when I see his artwork, the cool thing about seeing his artwork is it takes me back to that time of the early years of Scream Factory. And these were, like, just like best case scenario releases as well. New interview. I mean, of course, Pamela Springsteen's not on here, but we got a bunch of new interviews and it made it really fun and just awesome to watch these. And again, you know it's old school and you got the blue at the top signifying that this is Blu-ray, and it still came with DVDs because that was a thing. They were coming with DVDs still. So there you go. And they even, like, to differentiate it, you'll notice on here, like, they shade the DVD dimmer. So the Blu-ray is more like, got more color to it. I almost wonder if the movie itself looks the same way the DVDs look. I haven't watched my DVD of Sleepaway Camp on here, Sleepaway Camp 3 on here yet. But yeah, some of you may be more interested in getting this as opposed to the new releases because you might say, okay, well, now I can get the Blu-ray. I wanted the Blu-ray, but it was too expensive. You might be able to get that now. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right, guys, we got 3 left. Next up, this was an awesome release. I love this movie. I'm talking about Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. This was the golden era of Scream Factory here. I love it. This movie is absolutely fantastic. I actually love Bordello of Blood as much, but I know that I'm in the minority of that. So, and I think this was right around the time where they started to actually just do the full-colored slips, where they changed it. I think this was like a new thing at the time. So, yeah. Really, really cool. I love the artwork on this, and this movie looked really good. I don't think it was touted as any sort of new transfer, but just 1080p high definition. But it didn't look bad. And I have this movie on DVD, but I don't recall it looking that great either way. So make sure my computer doesn't fall asleep. Yeah, this was a great release. There was a lot of great new audio commentaries and interviews on here. There was a making of great stuff, but I don't know if that was new. The making of it might have been old. Yeah, that might have been old. So, but the directors for this movie were really cool. I love their attitude about this movie too. So, great commentary on that. Next up, this is one of the most underrated films of all time. I actually want this to come out in 4K because I think it'll find an even more of an audience, and that is Mark Lester's Class of 1984, one of the best 80s films ever made. Nerdy thing is Alice Cooper had some songs on here, and Michael J. Fox is in here when he was really young. Now, Alice Cooper at the time was doing his blackout era, which was when he was doing heavy drugs at the time, and his record contract with Warner Brothers was coming to an end, and he did a record called Zipper Catches Skin, which is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal record. He has a song called I Am the Future on here that opens the film. And this movie really, like, goes to a place that is so great, because it's like this teacher goes to teach at this crazy school where all these kids are just nuts. They're like criminals. They can't be tamed. And he ends up having to stop all these kids. And it is bad to the bone. It's kind of like a spiritual animal to Return of the Living Dead, but in a different genre, which is the best way I can put it. This movie is phenomenal. This is a 10 out of 10 film. I don't know what genre you would call it, whether you call it action, drama, horror, probably a little of all of them. I know that horror fans definitely would love this movie, but this movie has everything. A great soundtrack, great suspense. These kids are nuts in this film, but this film just works to every degree. I love it so much. So Class of 1984, this is a classic release. Funny story, I got this in like 2019 on Amazon, and it still came with the slip. So that tells me that this movie undersold. This movie did not sell very well, and that is a crying shame. You can still get this Blu-ray. It may come with the slip. You might get lucky. This was 6 years ago, so who's to say that they still don't have any floating around on Amazon with the slip? You might get lucky with Class 1984. Like I said, I got it on Amazon right before the pandemic, so it had already been out for years. And then last but not least, the greatest golden era Blu-ray from Scream Factory, hands down, absolutely hands down, is the original Halloween 3 Blu-ray. This is, in fact, the greatest. Now, the reason I picked this over, too, is because this release really welcomed the film in to all the fans out there that were like, okay, yeah, finally, this film gets the release it deserves. And it does deserve it, because it was finally, like, in a weird way, this release kind of justified its worth. That, yeah, of course we're doing a collector's edition of Halloween 3. Not because it's a Universal title, but because it deserves it. That's the feeling we got from it, and especially by the love put into it. I do love the artwork on this. I do think this is probably Nathan's best work he's done. And I love the old school lines. Like, this was right when we were starting to get into, like, making stuff look old school. And the special features on this are out of this world. I remember being able to, the first thing I did is reverse that art to that great image of the pumpkin, the witch, you know, whatever you call that thing, that witch, creepy witch thing that comes off of the title. But the great thing about this was that making of. It's one of the coolest making ofs. It's funny, too, because it starts with Erwin Yablon saying, I don't know why they did this movie. It was a stupid idea to do this movie. So he just shat on the film. But after that, everybody talked about how much they love the film, how they wanted it to succeed even though it didn't, and how they all think it's a great movie, including Alan Howarth, who talked about this. And this is a great release. Obviously, the 4K releases are even better because they come from the same company. All their features are back on there, along with even a new one that they did. And it was about Trick or Treat Studios talking about putting out The Mask, which is actually a cool featurette. But this is a vintage release now, which is so weird to say. I remember seeing this at Target, but it was the DVD version. I regret not grabbing it just to get it because I thought, oh, well, I had the Blu-ray version of it. But little did I know that, like, Scream Factory would stop releasing their films on collector's edition DVDs like a year later. They didn't do that for a whole lot of them. I have a few. This isn't one of them, and I regret that. So those are 10 golden era Scream Factory Blu-rays, guys. If you like this, I could probably do another episode of this. And let me know what is in your top 10 golden era Scream Factory Blu-rays. I love this era of Scream Factory. I think a lot of us do. And it's just fun. So let me know what you think about those, guys. And I'll catch y'all next time. Take care. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.